I mean, can you just describe the services that your son was getting through early intervention?
So Lucian had occupational therapy, developmental therapy, and once he was in it, speech therapy.
In speech therapy. Okay. And how did you make the decision for him to receive the therapies through live video visits?
At the beginning, it was because everything was shut down. Every COVID was new, and we wanted to continue developing all of the skills that he had been working on. He had already come so far, and we didn't want to miss out or have him have things slip away because he wasn't continuing to get therapy. So we tried it. We weren't sure if he was going to be able to pay attention, but we just had to find out if it worked for us.
Yeah. So he was getting in-person therapy and then COVID hit and you switched over to the live video visits.
Yes.
Nice.
And we had the option to go to in person at one point, but the video visits, they were working for us and they were a safer option for everybody involved. So
Yeah.
it really kind of gave us peace of mind to know he was still getting his services and they were still adequate in helping him, but we kind of took out that what if factor that's kind of going on right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's part of the purpose of them, right? Is that they're safer. Um, and what did you like about the live video visits?
It helped him develop his attention span because there wasn't someone else there with me to kind of bring him back. He tends to wander, um, and he just kind of has to get his wiggles out sometimes. So he'd be in the camera, and then he would dart across the room, and he wanted to know what was going on the camera because there wasn't someone there that he could just look over and see. He had to come to the screen. Um, and now with him being in school, it definitely helps him focus on his teacher more. His attention goals that they had set for him, he's already surpassing them. His goal was 2 minutes, and he made it 15 the other day.
Nice.
And I think
Oh.
it's developing that with the therapist. He's come so far. I mean, he said his name for the first time a week ago, and I cried because
Oh.
he had never said it. He's been saying his brother's names as well. So it's just really amazing to see him just not talking at all and grunting and pointing and being so frustrated to being able to express himself more.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
I'm crying
really.
right now a little
Oh, I know.
bit.
I want to cry too. I love that. That's wonderful. And was there anything challenging about the live video visits?
um, the process of developing that attention to it, it just took us time. Like I said, we had to find out what worked for us. He really liked, being able to talk to someone in a different way because kids love phones and they love technology,
Hmm.
and um, he hadn't really been exposed to too much. Um, so just him being able to see something different and interact with it, and he connected with it really well. And even now with his speech therapist and OT and DT, he loved them doing things with him and being able to look at them, seeing them interact with similar things. If they had the book he had, or if they had certain tools that he had, just showing off things and seeing himself and being able to see himself talk. I think, that reflection in a way helped him too. He likes to look in the mirror and practice facial expressions.
Huh.
So I think that seeing himself make the words and do the signing and anything like that and how his hands moved, I think it all kind of helped him just develop that.
That's really cool. You wouldn't, that's a nice byproduct of, doing these video visits, right? That you wouldn't have maybe necessarily thought of that it would help in that way. That's
Yeah.
great. Did the live video visits seem to work better for things like speech therapy um, versus the developmental therapy, or did it work well across the board?
Um, I think that nothing can beat someone being with your child in person. because there's another physical body there. There's a lot of social, emotional stuff there that I saw him develop with them in person.
Hmm.
But it was like the video visits did another side of that because a lot of things are like technology based. And like I said, he didn't really have too much interaction with technology. So I think it helped him see that, there was another person there and he could interact in a different way, in a comfortable way. Sometimes he's very lovey. He wants to be touched. He wants to give hugs. Sometimes it's hands off. And I think that definitely for those hands off days where he didn't even want me to touch him,
Hmm.
them talking to him through the screen and him being able to make his decision to come and sit down and show them something or do an activity with them kind of brought him out of a shell.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And let's see, I'm just going over my list of questions. Was there what information was shared with you prior to the live video visits? How did you have to prepare in some certain way for the visits?
Um, yeah, everything was pretty new at the time, so we were all almost winging it.
Yeah.
The main thing was just help them do whatever they need to do to be focused and get the most out of the video.
Hmm.
So, like, for most things, you want your child fed, you want them, he has a weighted vest and he has glasses. So, the days that we were rushed and I was, throwing the vest on him right before we went in and getting his glasses on and, here's a snap, those days never went as good as the days that we were, his vest had already been on him for a few minutes.
Hmm.
And then we came down or his glasses were already on and he was already had his drink, already had his snack, just being prepared is what we learned that he needed to do. Like most things, rushing with any child tends to go downhill.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that.
And since schedules are so important, it helped us as a family develop a schedule and be more consistent for him so he knew what was coming next. Like, you're putting your vest on, and then we're going to go downstairs and you're going to have your therapy. And everyone in the house kind of knew that it was a different atmosphere, like he
Yeah.
was getting ready.
Right, right. Preparation for him, preparation for you. That makes sense. Yeah. Um, let's see. I think for the most part, those were all of my questions. Are there other things you think families should know when they're deciding between in-person and live video visits that might help them make that decision?
I would just say they need to do what works for them.
Hmm.
And it's okay to try something and see how it works for your child. I mean, one visit, might not tell you something, but if you do 2 or 3 visits and just watch your child and see how they adapt to it, if they enjoy it, and if it helps them, you know, and with things going back and forth, it offers them the flexibility to say, hey, maybe today we can't do an in person. Could we do a video visit? It's not a good day for in person. And it's nice because they're in the comfort of their home or their office, and you are too. Um, and you can take it with you. You could take like, we went to, like, if we go to grandma's house, we still have, a device. He can still do his therapy. He had a therapy at his third birthday party.
Oh, wow.
And we just kind of stopped and took him away from the action because he does get kind of overwhelmed with crowds sometimes,
Hmm.
even when he's happy. And so he was able to do a therapy and then come back, and you could just see the difference. Like, he had taken in more, and he was doing more at his party, like interacting with people, talking to people. That was the first day that he wore his glasses for an entire day.
Oh,
So, like, you can definitely see the changes, I guess.
great. Thank you so much.